My name is Miri Landon-daughter. I live in a territory of Denland called Mount Eskel. I live with my sister Marta and my pa. My mother died a week after I was born. Marta and pa work in the quarry. I stay home and take care of the chores and the goats. Pa won't let me work in the quarry. I think it's because I'm so small. Every year, a week before winter, lowlanders would come up the mountain and trade materials for lumber. Mount Eskel was the only mountain to have lumber. I was taking the goats to eat when I heard hooves of horses coming out the mountain. It was too early for the lowlanders to be coming. As I was running into the village, I ran into my best friend Peter. He worked in the quarry with Pa, Marta, and other villagers. Peter makes my heart stop. My stomach fills with butterflies every time I see him. He makes me feel like I'm on cloud 9. Sometimes I think he feels the same way. Other times I don't. He's confusing. When Peter and I arrived to the village, the king's messenger announced that the priests have decided that the princess bride-to-be would be from Mount Eskel. I rolled my eyes and thought he was crazy. We are mountain girls, not valley girls. The messenger continued to speak. All eligible girls would be attending the Princess Academy located up the mountain. The prince would then choose one of them to be his bride. I was shocked to hear that I could have the chance to leave the mountain and become a princess. I looked at Peter happily. He walked away. A few days passed as the king's servants were setting up the Princess Academy. Me and 19 other girls were eligible to attend the Princess Academy. Marta wasn't able to attend because she was 3 months older than the prince. However, Britta, a girl from the lowland, was able to, just because she was now living with relatives on the mountain. Tutor Alana is our teacher. She is strict and mean. When any of us girls are out of place, she punishes us by locking us in the closet, slashing our wrists and arms, not allowing us to have a meal, and not to visit home on the weekend. Tutor Alana tells us that the top student would become the Academy Princess, and whoever becomes the Academy Princess usually becomes the Prince's bride. The Academy Princess also gets to wear a beautiful gown. Qatar was one of the older girls. She was not a very nice person. She thought she'll become the Academy Princess. I accepted her challenge and studied hard to become the Academy Princess myself. During the weeks, Britta and I became close friends. She tells me about how she feels like an outcast because she's from the lowland, and how her relatives aren't the worst, but they aren't the best people either. I decided to invite her to live with Marta, Paul, and I when we go home. Alana announced that there was a tie between Qatar and me for the Academy Princess. Alana had the other girls vote and I won. I could tell Qatar was upset because she thought becoming the princess was her only chance to be able to leave the mountain. To attend the ball at the end of the year, we had to pass our exams. We all passed our exams and were able to attend the ball. However, Britta became very ill the night of the ball and was forced to stay in the bedchamber. Since I was the Academy Princess, I danced first with Prince Stefan. He was very stiff and seemed like he didn't know how to joke. Later that night, I pulled him aside, and as we were talking he became loose, but I could still tell something was wrong. The ball ended. The prince left the next day without choosing a bride-to-be. We were told that we had to stay at the academy during the next winter and wait for him to return. The girls and I walked back to the village to tell our families. I told Peter that I was angry I wasn't picked. He got mad and walked off. The rest of the winter felt awkward between Peter and I. The night before the prince came back to Mount Eskel, Britta ran off. I ran after her. She told me that Stefan and her grew up together. She loved him and couldn't see him choosing another girl over her. However, I knew Stefan would choose her and not anyone else. I was right. Britta was chosen by Prince Stefan. The second he saw her, his eyes lit up like the 4th of July. Britta offered me a job in the lowland, but I gladly declined. Qatar was a better fit, plus it would allow Qatar to leave the mountain. I walked back to the village with the remaining girls. Peter saw me. He ran up to me and my stomach filled with butterflies. He told me he was very happy that I wasn't chosen. I was just as happy as him. He held my hand as he walked me home. When we arrived to my house, he asked if we could go on a walk later. Of course I said yes, but first I wanted to tell Marta and Paul about the princess shoes.